One and a two and a...
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it's Thursday, and this doesn't happen on Thursdays, but this week it does. This is a brand new live stream of Long Box Punk. That's me. I'm Chris. I'm the Punk, and I am joined not just by one, but two super rad dudes, also super local. We know each other in real life. I've got Tony right next to me. I've got John down here on the screen. And we are going to be talking all things FiveStar Comiccon, which is coming up September 13th and 14th in Middletown, Ohio, at the Middletown Miami University campus. I'm stoked to be a part of it again this year. I had a blast last year, which was its first inaugural year. It was a one-day event. This year, we've doubled the size, and I'm even more involved. So somehow I've infiltrated the powers that be and convinced them that I need to be along for the ride as well, which I'm super stoked about. So before we get talking into the con and comics and how everything came to be and what people can expect, I want to first know, like, how did you both, what's your origin story? Like, how did you both get into comics and conventions and doing like, how did all of this start for you? And I'll let the two of you fight to the death to figure out who goes first.
You go first, Tony.
All right, that's fine. I'll go first. Yeah, I am Tony Klapper, aka Mr. FiveStar, and my origin with comic books started early as a kid. I am a 90s baby, so we had all the best cartoons. Animated Batman series, Superman, Spider-Man, X-Men, Gargoyles. I mean, to be a kid in the 90s, you just had it fed to you. Yep. And I can remember as a kid, I had this Total Justice coloring book at my grandma's house, and I would take sheets of paper and lay them over the characters, and I trace them, and I create my own characters with those like tracings, and that's what got me into like writing comic books. So I am the writer and creator of the series called Kevin Terry is FiveStar with Freestyle Comics, and all that led to, pandemic hit. Okay, how do we push? How do we promote? We're not in cons. So that came the podcast FiveStar Fridays. COVID clears up. We get back on the con scene. We're doing our thing. And I'm like, yo, I want to do my own con at my own hometown. I think Middletown needs its own con. So how do I do that? And then, the pieces just kind of fell into place to where we are here now, year 2. That is my origin story.
That's an awesome origin story.
No dead parents, or like I didn't have to
no vengeance sworn upon your city.
No vengeance or nothing like
no
that.
Spider, radioactive spider biting.
No, I didn't get bit by nothing cool.
Well, like Tony said, 90s babies got it. I grew up with 80s and 90s cartoons, and I remember falling in love with Batman the Animated Series. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I discovered Batman 89. And I'm like, what is this? I love this. But actually, it's funny because remember in the block party, we were talking about X-Men and everything.
Yeah.
And I was talking with my uncle the other day, and he's like, you know what? I always knew that you were going to like go into this world. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, you were like 4 years old and you found a copy of my X-Men, like Fatal Attractions, where
oh man,
Wolverine has his adamantium taken off.
Yeah.
And he's like, you stir in that cover like for an hour. And I'm like, okay, I understand my love for X-Men.
That's sick.
But yeah, I started a podcast called Play and Restart. It was a rebrand. I started 2017. I'm from Puerto Rico, so we were sitting around and I'm like, you know what? I love comics. I love movies. I love talking about this. Why don't do a podcast? Like, let's do it. So we started doing the podcast, doing a YouTube channel, and then I moved to Ohio. Unfortunately, Hurricane Maria hit, so I moved here, and I'm like, you know what? I need to go back to podcasting and just talking about what I love. So I rebranded it to Play and Restart, and that's how I started taking like for photography. I have my own like photo business hobby,
Nice.
whatever you want to say to it. Then I saw an ad for the FiveStar Comiccon. I'm like, you know what? This is awesome having a Comic-Con in our hometown, because Middletown adopted me. Like, I feel like I've been living here for my whole life. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have to lose anything. Let's send in an application. And Tony is like, hey, welcome to the team. I'm like, awesome, let's do this. And after that, I will be like, hey, Tony, you need anything? Like, I can help you with chairs, whatever.
Definitely hungry. He was definitely hungry.
And
awesome.
I kept like bickering, like, hey man, I can throw out the trash. Anything you need.
Yeah.
And that's how I became involved with FiveStar Comiccon.
That's awesome. Yeah, last year I saw a poster for when it was still with the city of like the convention, and there was an email on the back, and I was like, you know what the hell? And so I just emailed blindly like, hey, you don't know me, but I'm local to the area. I love comics. I am not scared to talk in front of people. If you need anything at all, like I'll throw out your trash, I'll sweep the floors. I don't care. I just want to be involved. And I got involved that way and did the cosplay thing last year. And then I had seen Tony's post like, hey, we're looking to grow the team. Yeah. And I waited like 4 weeks before I finally was like, I need to just send him a message. And so I sent you the message like, hey, if you're still looking, I know a guy. Yeah. And so now here we are.
Here we are.
But you mentioned Fatal Attractions, and only because I have it right here.
Oh man.
My daughter crushed Christmas this year. And got me the Fatal Attractions Wolverine pop. And I was like, I don't have this one. And I've been looking at it since it came out. And she was like, I just know you like Wolverine. I was like, you're the best.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, shout out to the daughter. That's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about the con. And like, so I mentioned that last year in its inaugural year, it was run by the city. And then this year you've taken over, Tony, and made it like fully on part of your FiveStar brand. Like, where did the FiveStar brand come from? And then how did that takeover happen?
Yeah. So originally with the Middletown Comic Expo was what it was called last year. It was still me like running it, as far as like I went to the city. I knew that one, I didn't financially have the money to cover a full-blown con.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to make it revolve around the community. I'm real big on the community and just doing things with the community and trying to get the community involved and trying to get the youth involved. So when I went to the city, I had a meeting and they brought me to their office and I just pitched it. You know, like, I think this will be great for the city. I think this is another way to reach the other side of the classroom. I think Middletown has a big issue with just supporting and kind of pushing the sports kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love I love sports as well, but like, let's reach the other side of the classroom. Let's have an outlet for that. So boom, let's put this con in the city. And it gives kids that are, writing stories or creating characters or into voice acting, they're into anime. It gives them an outlet in their city. It gives them an event to look forward to. So like, how can we make that happen? And luckily, Jerry Lewis at the time, who worked with the city, she jumped on it. She's like, that sounds perfect. Her kid is into voice acting. Some of her kids are into like superheroes and stuff like that. And she's like, let's do that. So worked with the city. We was able to, year one, have a success. And it was kind of just more of like, the more we thought about it and everything, like when we ended it with the city, everything was good. Like it wasn't no bad tension or anything like that. It was just more of like, man, there's certain red tapes and loopholes and things we got to do because it is a city and they have a reputation and they have a brand that they have to keep. And when you're tied to the cities, you got to go through legal teams and you got to go through this and you got to go through that. And it was more like, you know what? I think we'll just have more freedom, more control if we're able just to kind of do this on our own. And my mind just started turning and like, man, how can I expand this and maybe look into other cities and look into doing it other places? And that was kind of the reasoning of like, okay, let's do it. Let's just do it ourselves. Like we can do it. Yeah. I know the people. I have the team. We're ready. And I think we can do it. And so that's kind of where that came from of like how we jumped ship. Now with the FiveStar thing, the branding really just because, like I said, my character, I named my character FiveStar, and it just kind of ran. I was on a podcast and I was talking about my book, and this guy kept calling me FiveStar. He wouldn't call me by name. He just kept calling me FiveStar, and like, which is fine. He was like, "What do you think, FiveStar? What do you think, FiveStar?" So I was like, "Man, that's cool. I'm gonna just use that, Mr. FiveStar." So I just kind of went with that branding, and then it just kind of everything just kind of now everything's FiveStar. Like,
yeah,
I got a comic book, a podcast, a con, like everything's just under this FiveStar label, and it just happens to work out. And you know, I get called all the time. Like if somebody passes like a pizzeria and they're like, "It's FiveStar Pizzeria," they like hit me up, take a picture of it. Like, "Are you got a pizza shop?" I'm like, "No." Or there's like a barbershop, FiveStar barbershop. Man, you got a barbershop? I'm like, "No, I get my hair cut there, but then you know, shout out to Miguel. I got an appointment tomorrow, but
same.
You know, I don't.
Yo, do you see Miguel too? Do we all have the same dude?
Yeah, no, like the owner of the barbershop is a very good friend of mine.
Okay,
so it was funny when he's like, "Oh, FiveStar barbershop." I'm like,
yeah,
what?
I know that guy.
I know you were there. I know you went there. Yeah, and actually, I talked to Miguel about you the last time I was there, so that's funny.
That's awesome.
Small town, man, small town. But so it's funny. It's just something that kind of just organically happened. Like I said, somebody started calling me that, and I was like, that's kind of got a cool like ring to it, Mr. FiveStar. Yeah. And it's up to people to determine whether that scale is on out of 5 or out of 10. If you think I'm average, cool. I'm 5 out of 10. I'll be your average dude. That's fine. If you think it's out of 5, cool. Hey, it is what it is. So that's just kind of where the branding came from. And it just made sense this year for us to go independent and still be able to put on for the city that I love, because I love this city dearly. Born and raised here. And I really just wanted to do something for the youth, because I can remember being a kid here and I would have killed to have a Comic-Con that I could go to for free. Yeah. 12 kids, 12 and under free. And I would kill for that opportunity to just be in part of something like this. So it was a no-brainer to try to have one here.
That's awesome. And John, were there, forgive me, does Puerto Rico have Comic-Cons?
Yeah, they have the biggest one in the Caribbean, Puerto Rico Comic-Con.
That's awesome.
And it's funny because I didn't know we had one growing up. They started in the 2000s, and it was like this, very small, very, very, very local. And when I first went, it was 2014. Yeah, it was 2014, and it blew my mind. Like, I just went in because I love comics. I needed comics. I just want to see people in cosplay, take pictures with them, take picture of them. And then they're like, "Oh, we have artists invited, right?" I'm like, "Who do you guys have?" And they're like, "We have JDF, rest in peace. We had they had like half of the Power Rangers cast there. They had, oh my god, I forgot his name. Not Frank Miller. He created Thanos. I forgot his name. Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
I've already told you that I was bad with names. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So they do have one, and that year kind of like exploded, and everybody started like talking about that Comic-Con. And since then I went until I moved every single year. It's a great experience.
That's awesome.
So if you ever have the chance, I recommend it.
Yeah, one of my lifelong friends was born in Puerto Rico, and they came in 6th grade. And he actually just called me like a half an hour ago. They're having their second child and they just found out they're having a boy. But
Right.
like he, so he like goes back every year and I'm like, dude, one of these years I'm just gonna sneak into your luggage and you can smuggle me to Puerto Rico because I just want to go. Like I want to go so bad. I know
I've been
so
wanting
many
to
people
go back.
like I mean, shoot, we can take this thing on the road, right, Tony?
Right.
Like that's
Sure. I'm already looking into it. I'm already looking into what other places we can go. And hey, if we start doing real well, maybe we can just take a work trip to
Yeah, there we go. A research.
yeah. We're
cross
scouting.
promotion,
Right.
For sure.
That's perfect. Now, John, do you also like create comics, or are you just like me, where you're like just a mega super fan?
Exactly like you. I'm just a super mega fan. I know people that do like indie comics back in the island, but I'm just appreciate their art. I'm like, okay, I'll buy it, I'll read it, I'll save it until I die. But yeah, I just appreciate the art and storytelling.
That's cool. And Tony, you were telling me like you want to expand what you're doing, and obviously the con takes a ton of time and effort and brain capacity. But you were telling me that you've got some other ideas for some additional stories to like branch out. Is that and I know, for those that are well seasoned here on the show, I had Michael Kingston on, who is he's the guy that started Freestyle Comics.
Michael
Watson. Yes. As I said it, I was like, this is not right. Michael Watson started Freestyle, and like he was a super fun dude and just like a blast to talk to. Have you guys talked about like, I don't know, growing the FiveStar universe or expanding it into even further directions than it's already gone? Because it's already like I forget the insane number of titles that are held within the
FreeStyle. At like 16 titles at FSK. Okay. And them are all like part of like one universe. But yeah, so it was for me. So I started off publishing FiveStar on my own. I was self-published, and then I got with another small-time publisher for a little bit, and I met Michael, and the chemistry with me and Michael were like, oh yeah, like we were just bouncing ideas off each other, and it was just like, okay, we got something here. And we were both signed under the label Short Fuse for a little bit, and Hot Shot and FiveStar were in different universes, and we were just both published under the same publisher. Well, that publisher kind of just went out. He was kind of like, hey, I got some stuff going on in life. I can't do this anymore. Yeah. This kind of thing. And it was no bad blood or anything like that. He just let us all know. And I remember I got off the phone call, and I was kind of like, man, this sucks, because I was really looking forward to being with this bigger publisher. And Michael calls me instantly. Bring. I pick it up. He's like, don't worry. He's like, Freestyle Comics, we're going to do our own thing, and I want FiveStar with us. It only makes sense. We're both in Ohio. We can both, do these cons together. It makes sense. FiveStar is a good character. You're a dope writer, and, we're friends at this point. He's like, so let's make it happen. So we got like a cool opportunity to write now FiveStar into the Hot Shot universe. And I went ahead and just took the initiative. Like I had 2 issues out of FiveStar already at that point, or 3 actually. I had 3 issues of FiveStar. And this is hard for indie creators to do, because we all know as creators, like it costs money to make these comics. Yeah. I wanted to redo issue 1. I wanted issue 1 to be redone with a new artist. And because when you hand that issue 1 to people, it's what gets them. It catches them. Yeah. So we had a cool opportunity to get in and like change some things and really tie it in to the Freestyle Comics universe. And it was really fun to do that, working with Danny Cooper and Michael Watson to just bring FiveStar into that world. We didn't have to change too much, but we definitely have some plans that are crazy brewing in FSK. Some big multi-title crossovers that are coming. I can't give too much away. Sure. I did get the green light. I am writing an issue of Hot Shot, which is Michael's title. Nice. I'm excited about that. I'm going to stay away from bringing FiveStar probably into that, just because I want to just flex my hands a little bit and write other characters. But but yeah, Michael knows that I have, some ideas that I want to play with. I kind of have my own superhero universe that I want to kind of jump into, and just some other things. And you're right, like especially right now, this con stuff has been like boom, 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 boom. And it's kind of taken away from that, but like it's still there. And I still try to carve out some time just to be like, okay, let me at least get some ideas down. Let me at least get some brainstorming down, because once this frees up, like I got to get back. I got to get on that work. So for guys like us, the work never stops, right? Like we always are like, we get through one thing and then we're like on to the next. And that's kind of where it is with that. Like it's on a pause for a minute. Issue 3, funded on Kickstarter. We're getting it all out to backers and that sort of thing. We'll have it at FiveStar Comiccon, of course. So we debuting issue 3 for people to buy in the public. And but it's gonna be fun, man, to just continue that journey. And definitely, I've been so attached to the FiveStar character for so long that I haven't been able to put anything else out. Yeah. So I'm excited to put like out that next project, because I'm only known for FiveStar as a writer, and that's fine, because it's hard enough as any creator to spend the funds and spend the time on anything else. But I am definitely like excited to like kind of flex a little bit and just get some new stuff out.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's great to hear too that you're debuting for the public that 3rd issue as well. Like, have you talked to any of the other creators that are coming of like, hey, are you like bringing any, like, do you know of anybody else that's debuting a brand new issue like that?
I don't know if there's anybody debuting a new issue of anything. I'm sure Michael's going to have Hot Shot 13. It just came out. He's going to have the trades for Hot Shot 1, 2, and 3. They'll be there, which are new. I'm sure Victor Dandridge. I don't know if you're familiar with Victor Dandridge.
I don't think so.
He is the hardest working man in comics, is what his tagline. He does a lot of big stuff for the other cons. Like he's like the guy who interviews celebrities at other cons and that sort of thing. He's got some cool projects that are coming out, so I'm sure he'll bring some stuff. But other than that, I'm not familiar. Surprisingly, and it's one of those things where you're always just kind of surprised on how things turn out. A lot of the artists that are coming to the show I've never got to meet in person. I don't know.
That's
I'm
cool.
not familiar with them. Which just means, for one, the word's spreading and people want to get on the show, and to be pretty much filled up with like 2 weeks of posting, to have a full show, to where now we're at a place where like, because of it's getting a buzz, we've actually had some like bigger people kind of reach out to us, and like we just don't have tables. So it's like a catch-22, because you're like, oh my God, I'd love to have this voice actor.
That's like the pro.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have a table. I cannot fit one more table in the show and it still be comfortable for the guests. I think we're almost at the point now where I'm giving, like, I was gonna have a table with my stuff, and I think I've just given up I gave my table away. Like, I don't need a table. What do I need a table for? I'm gonna be running around anyway. So like I can just always. The lucky thing with FiveStar stuff is I can always just have it at Michael's table, the Freestyle Comedy table. So I'm gonna put my stuff there. But it's it's been a cool experience with that, and like I said, it's cool to know like, it's getting the people that I don't know. It's one thing to say, I'm having a con, it's my friends over there. It's another thing to be like, I'm having a con, it's a bunch of people I've never met, and I'm getting to meet these new people because they've heard of it and they want to be a part of it. So that's awesome. That's been cool.
Yeah, I know. I went to a small press con up in Columbus, and was telling the creators that I instantly clicked with. I was like, you should come hang out at FiveStar in September. Yeah. And I know at least Alex is, and I'm gonna forget his name too. I think it's Alex Clark.
Okay.
I think he's in and like was able to table, because he had messaged me like, hey, so I'm trying to figure out like hotels and stuff. He was the reason that I messaged the team.
Yeah.
So I know he's coming down, which is super rad because he's super fun to talk to. But like, so John, when like during the con, other than taking out all of the trash, like
he might not. He's not gonna be on trash duty. I got a job for John.
What's do you know what that job is, John? Like, what do you?
What I know, I'll be running anywhere. I like talking to people, especially Middletown has a very big population of Latino people. So and I've been talking to every single one of them. Like, hey, we have this con in September. And last year when that started, I was doing like pictures. I was taking like media.
Yeah, he was doing media last year. He did some media stuff. This year, I'm hoping, and he's just getting revealed to him right now. So right here on the show, I'm going to have a cameraman following him around while he gets interviews with guests and creators and people at the show, because my goal for Middletown is this year just to have so much content that we don't know what to do with.
Right.
Year one, we did not get the amount of content that I would like to have. So this year, it's year two, but technically it's year one because it's under this new brand. And I just want to have so much content that we're able just to flood our socials with it. And John plays a huge role in that because of, like he said, he is bilingual. He does have a crowd that he's able to connect with that maybe I'm not able to. And that was why it was a no-brainer for me. Like, man, like, dude, you've been since day one, like hitting me up. Like, what can I do, man? What can I do? What can I do? And, at the time it was like, you're just trying to figure stuff out. And then it's like, it clicked, like, man, I know this dude needs to be doing what I'm doing. I'm making these videos and doing stuff. I need him to do that. And that was kind of where the whole like faces of FiveStar came from.
Yeah, I remember that Saturday, free comic book day, and I'm at the comic shop, and he's like, hey, I want to talk to you. I'm like, hey, man, if you need me. And he's like, let's talk. I actually want to do something. And I remember like a week, 2 weeks after that, he hit me up. Hey, man, I was about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Hey, I have these ideas.
You guys will know that for me, dude. I thought hits my head. It doesn't matter if it's 2 a.m. I'll be like,
gotta get it out, man. Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't answer right away, cool. But just know that I got it out there, and you'll respond to me.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm a night owl. I function better, and I can night my ideas. Like my brain will be running, and that day I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sleep. I put my head on my pillow, and I'm like, oh, Tony, what's going on? Hey, man, I have the idea. I'm like, I'm in.
Wide awake. All the lights come on in the house.
Oh, yeah, I forgot when I start streaming that day. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this.
That's awesome.
Let me tell you also a little something about John. And it's just cool when you start to meet people. Like when you start to really get to know people a little bit. This dude always answers me back right when I message him. And he's like, why, what's up? What do you need? Like, he's just so like, he's just on it. And I'll be like, no, man, it's cool. I'll talk to you about it later. And he'll be like, no, man, like, I'm cool now. Like, tell me what's going on. And I'll be like, all right, cool. Yeah, like, he's just like, he's so on it. I can hit him up like the day of and be like, hey, man, I just heard of this event. There's going to be people here. Like, let's pass out flyers. And he's like, bet, I'll meet you there.
Awesome.
Like, all right, cool.
And like, that's the hustle that it takes to make conventions happen, especially getting them from the ground up. Like, I just started a new job, and it's like a startup company's been around for 3.5 years. I'm full-time employee number 3 at the job.
Wow.
And like, it's just been a fire hose of information, but it's really just kind of shocking to me, and which it shouldn't be, but it's shocking to me how many things there are when you're trying to start a brand new thing. Like, it's not just focusing on, okay, what do you need for a convention? You need creators, you need vendors, you need cosplay stuff. Like, you need all of these things. Well, you also need a location, you need logistics, you need to make sure the lights in the air are on that day. You need, like, what are we doing for food? We're going to have food trucks. Well, what food trucks? Find the food trucks. I don't know. We got to have, like, then suddenly it's all of these extra logistics. And so I'm curious, like, what are the things that as you've been planning this, you're like, oh, crap, I got to figure out this thing.
Man, everything, honestly. Like, if I'm being fully transparent, like, everything has been like, you think like you got it, and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like you said, like, we'll get the food trucks and we'll do this. But then you, like, when you start, the fuller plan last year did not go as we like. No, I will say everything turned out okay, and everybody was happy. And at the end of the con, everybody enjoyed it. And what you do, you just learn from your first year. But last year, we're supposed to get the tables delivered at a certain time on Friday, right? They come like 4 hours later than they were supposed to. right around the time that vendors are starting to come in, and we don't even have these tables put up. So it was kind of like just a scramble. And mind you, it is a college, so we haven't even seen that space completely opened up like that until that day. So you have no idea really how things are going to fit. So we're scrambling, and it's like scramble, throwing tables together, moving stuff at the last minute at the fly. And luckily, like I said, we were able to kind of, still, you guys were both at the show. It turned out good. There was things we wanted to change, like just the spacing and making sure, but like that was big. Like, okay, when we go in this year, measuring tapes, tape. Let's make sure everything is like spacious and comfortable, because we don't want anybody to be uncomfortable, especially at a 2-day show. And then like you said you gotta like, oh yeah, we need flyers. Well, flyers cost this money, signs cost this money costs this is this. So stuff just starts like ching 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 ching.
Yep.
Like, okay, how, and I've been lucky to have a team who's just been on it with me, and we've been just, you got to think. So going into this year, we thought we were still partnering with the city, and about April, May, we kind of make a little bit of a U-turn, and we had to like, okay, we got to rebrand everything. Yeah. And the city was, at the time, they wasn't wanting, what kind of was like one of the deciding factors in that. And like I said, no bad blood with the city or anything. They got their way that they handle things. They wanted to not let us have our own website. Yeah. And you guys know with the kind of place to just push the con, they was trying to say, let's just push everything through the Middletown page. And I'm like, man, it's not going to work. And then we're going to have to go through like all these loopholes and all these people to post our stuff. And, with con, you got to be creativity, because it's really all about your identity and how you make your con different. And I didn't want to get just so lost into like the face of the city. Like, this is a city event. I really wanted the con to have its own identity. And so it was like, we got to do this. It just doesn't make sense. Let's go. And, luckily we did it kind of at a good time, because their event coordinator ended up going somewhere else, and some of the events in Middletown got canceled anyway. And so it sounded like we made the right decision, and hopefully Middletown gets that position filled, and they have some dope events for the city. But so we had to make that decision, and luckily, it was like, we need a website, we need it now. Yeah. We need a brand, we need a whole branding kit, we need to, and I had luckily the girls at Crooked Dog Comics, cannot thank them enough. Them two are rock stars. Jessica and Sarah are like rock stars. And they were like, we got you. We can do it. Michael Watson also, who creates all the graphics and stuff like that. He was, I remember him being like, so we're rebranding. He was the one for year one that did all the graphics, and we used a lot of the FSK characters. That was, he made that shirt. And it's cool to be part of a con where our characters can be like the focal point. That was like there it is, FiveStar Hot Shot Vigilance. That's with our partnership with Freestyle. It's like, man, let's get our characters out there and in the forefront and use them, unique characters and the diverse characters. And so we were able to do that. And he was kind of like, I'm gonna need some help, dog. Like,
mine's right over here too.
So, and they were like, we'll help you. We got it, So between all of us, it was like just moving so quickly, and you start getting little hurdles. Like, we just saw like a kind of a major hurdle like last week, because I was sitting there and thinking, okay, so you go out to these food trucks and you get your food, and we don't have any place to sit out there. So as a parent, I'm just picturing me with my 3 kids. I go out there and get them. I don't have a place to sit, so I might go to my car to feed the kids. I'm not going back into the con, right? Because the time you get the kids settled and together and this and that, it's hot outside and you're sweating and you're eating and you're trying to, don't do that, and here's this and here's that. You don't feel like going back in. So I'm like, we have to have seats outside. We have to we have to get a big tent. We have to put tables out there. We have to have a place for everybody to sit down. So it was like, that's the kind of stuff that as you're going, you just kind of like hit you like, man, because you got to think about all walks of life. Like, yeah, people coming into con who don't have kids, it might be nothing to go get their food and come back. But like me as a parent, I had to sit and think like realistically, if I go somewhere, it's all about the kids' comfort, your comfort, and I'm gonna want a place to sit down, eat, rest a minute. And it's not like it's a big convention center, so we don't have a bunch of rooms where you can have the place inside to like really sit down. We have a small space, but even that you'd have to walk all the way through to get there. So it's like, let's have this rest spot here, and that way you rest for a minute, and then you're like, oh, energized, and you can go back in. So that's really just stuff like that pops up, and you don't think about it until you're like, until you think about it, and you're like, okay, we got to get this together.
John, are there? I think because you're a parent too, yeah.
Yeah, 3 kids.
Both with 3 kids, man. I was one and done.
Hey, I wanted 5, and then I had the one. I'm like, I don't want no more. And then I have 2 more.
So, like, as a dad, are you like, are there things with the layout or anything from your experience at the con last year that now going into this year, you're thinking to yourself like, well, now I'm part of the team, so I can just say like, hey, Tony, I noticed this last year, and what if we did this? Like, do you have those types of thoughts too?
It's funny because I was talking to my kids because they went last year.
Okay.
When I tell you I was pushing everybody to go ahead, I was. They're like, hey. And I was asking them, like, hey, what do you think about last year? What we can change this year? They were like, honestly, Dad, it was okay. But like Tony said, it's funny you said it because like I didn't know where to sit to eat or grab a seat. So, but I understand. First year, like Tony said, we learn from those experiences.
Yeah.
But I think it was pretty solid. Like they had that kid area there, and every kid I saw, I have pictures. They were having a blast.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing because as a dad, sometimes you're like, okay, if your kids are old enough, you want them to like explore, and you want to go ahead buy some comics.
Yeah.
So that was a great idea.
Yeah.
So I'm with Tony. Like just an area where you can sit that you don't have to leave the area to go out with your kids. That's
yeah. I know. Like also, like the aisles were a bit small. Like I said, we like when you're rushing to get the tables in, you don't really account for like all that. So then you got strollers coming in, and people were kind of like, it was kind of tough to get through, and we just made do. We just was just like, we'll fix. The beginning of that day, I was just spent the whole day putting out little fires, and you're trying to make your vendors happy, and but you also got to make the guest happy, and I think we only ended up like refunding like 2 tickets.
Oh, nice.
For the con. One was this lady just couldn't make it, and she was like, I was just wondering I couldn't make it if I get a refund. Sure. There was one guy who I think is just one of the type of guys that you might just not please ever. Right. He walks around the con, he looks at everything, he comes back to the front, and he's like, there's not enough comic books here for a Comic-Con. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, here's your $10 ticket back. Because it's like, what? There was so many, for one, independent creators there that sell their own comics, and then like 3 comic book shops that sell comics. So it was kind of like, okay. So I just, you got to pick your battles. And it's one of those things where you're like, all right, man. Well,
here you go.
Sorry you didn't like it. Here's your $10 back.
Yeah. But I will say the turnout was great last year. When I was taking pictures and I was talking to Jerry, I was talking to Tony, like, do you expect this much people to come in? And they were like, no. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I figured, my thought was we'll get a lot of first time con goers is what we get. I knew that Middletown would provide a lot of first timers. It's one of those things. It's like, what's this weird thing going on in our city? Oh, like Big to it. They're like, oh, like from Big Bang Theory. It's like, yes. From Big Bang Theory, yes, we're having one in your city. So I think I knew going in that we'd have a lot of first time con goers, a lot of people that just, like I said, want to come check out the city, but like when I got the the number back that we hit 4,000 people for year one con, and then talking to some third numbers and seeing like, oh, okay, like we're not
that bad.
we're not far from, or we're dang, like okay, we did something here. That was cool. That was like okay, and that makes it all worth the while to put something on that, And this year, I'm hoping that we between the 2 days, I'm not greedy, but I'd like to hit 6. I think it's doable. I think between the 2 additional goal of mine.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's good to have personal goals, and you mentioned at the block party too, like small wins, right?
Small wins, yeah.
We got this thing up, cool. Small wins. We hit our number for raffle tickets, cool.
Yeah.
Small win. Like,
yeah.
I think that's such a good approach. I remember having those conversations as everybody was leaving last year, and vendors are tearing down their tables and all that stuff, and it was just like, we just did a thing. Like how, and I was just like, I want to be involved, so I'm just gonna hang around, here by the entrance, and ended up in those conversations of like, we never expected to have this many people, and we had random people as they were leaving, like, thank you, all of that super positive energy that, as someone who loves not just comics, not just indie creators, but conventions, because if I could, like, my heaven is just going to be a small town comic convention just full of creators, right? Because like there's that untapped magic that I wish I could just bottle and sell to people, because I left with a stack of comics. I left with a couple fun trinkets. I think I got a new patch or button from someone too. You know what I mean? Like, but we like, the full, like, I somehow won that raffle jacket from Michael. And it's so nice, by the way.
I love
it's
purple.
It's everything. If it wasn't in September and I could like wear it comfortably temperature wise, I would have it on the entire day this year. But like, being up there as people were leaving and hearing the response, not just from people leaving, but also from vendors who were like, hey, we know this is a first year con. This was great. Like our experience as vendors was, I think it's important to recognize that, like, sure, let's shoot for the moon and then past. Like, let's shoot for Jupiter's moons. Yeah. But at the same time, like, celebrate that, we hit here. And I loved it at the block party when you're like, small wins matter, because I'm usually the person that's like, whoa, let's celebrate small wins too. But I just like, I love that approach. And so I'm curious, like, for each of you personally, what's a win for you this year at the con?
I'll let you go. You go ahead.
Man, I remember saying, just watching like people going, like families and kids, just their smile. Like last year, I saw a lot of kids and family going, oh my God, this is awesome. I never been here. I never been to a con or coming. Like, I saw a kid holding a comic for the first time. Like, this is cool. And it was comics. I'm like, I just want to have, like, I want people to have fun. Like, don't go there and seeing frowny faces or whatever. I want people, like, just to have fun, absorb that, like what you were saying, that energy, that small town comic convention energy that we have to go. Because I had to travel at like 8 o'clock, but I'm like, I don't want to go. I want to stay here. Like, what's going on? But for me, one of the goals is like people just go there, have fun, and just feel that they're the main character, like the slogan we would be telling. Like, you go there, have fun, enjoy, and absorb that good energy that we are trying to give out.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with him on that. Like for me, yeah, it's a business, so you gotta make money because when you make the money, you gotta pay your people. But ultimately, I want to offer an experience. I want families to come and be like, man, we got to connect.
Yes.
As a father, and I'm sure John, you guys, both of you guys can attest to this. Like as your kids start getting into stuff, sometimes you don't always get into the same stuff they're in. So for the parents, it's nice to take kids on this thing that they're into because they're just absorbed in it. And getting to see some of the kids last year, like John was saying, like, and I was talking to some of the teachers that were there because last year we made a point to hit all the elementary schools in Middletown. We gave them free stuff to all the kids, and we just typed that, and we gave them like scavenger hunts and coloring pages and this and to we're doing the same this year. September 5th will be at all the schools in Middletown. So to be able to see these kids, and then I got teachers coming up to me and they're pointing out kids, and they're like, "I've never seen him act like this in a social from this kid. I've never seen that girl just so socially in her element." And I think that's what's beautiful about cons in general. It's like nerds, geeks, us who you might be shy in like regular social anime con or whatever con. You're going somewhere because you're a fan, and you just get to be just embedded in this fandom, and you're nerding out with so many different people that just love the same stuff you love. So it lets you know the characters that you love to watch, and you're getting compliments on your costume because you dressed up as a character that in your household you might be the only one that knows who that character is, right? Dad don't know, mom don't know, your brother and sister don't know, but you know, and you're excited and you're like, I'm gonna wear this that character just as well as you do. That is so cool to me to be able to create those experiences. So I think, and the relationships. So I think, what's going to set us apart from other cons, and I love other conventions, and I try to take any type of opportunity I can to learn is like community, money. I want to throw a convention to build community and build an experience, and that was the whole reason for the faces of FiveStar, because you see these cons and you don't know the guy who runs the con, right? You don't have faith in us. I want our faces. I want them to be like, man, that Chris dude, he's cool as hell. I just want to come hang out with him. Man, John dude, he's a cool ass dude. I just want to hang out with him, man. Or Tony, he's a cool dude. I want to just come hang out with him. Because ultimately I've learned with whatever I work as a life enrichment director for the elderly, if people genuinely just like you, they're going to support anything you do, right?
Yeah.
Because they like you. Like I could come up with a new water bottle that I've created to, and try to sell it. And I'm going to have people just buy it off the strength of because they like me. Yeah. Because I've created that relationship with them. And now they're like, man, I like that guy. Let me just support him because I know he's a cool dude. And I want that with the con. I want them to see us and be like, man, these are some cool dudes. They're really into what they do. They really care about the community. They're passionate about what they do. And I just want to hang out with them. So I know that they're having a great time cutting up and working on this stuff. And they're having a good time. It sounds like it's going to be a good time just to go. And that's what I want to create. I want to create that, like when we say you are the main character of this con, it's because I want you to feel like you are the main character. I want you to feel like, man, this experience was tailored to me. Yeah. Because I want everybody to come out feeling like, man, there was something here for me. There was people here for me. And there was an experience here for me, and they walk away and they're happy, and that's what I want to offer.
You got me all up in my feels, dude. You just captured one of the things that I try to articulate a lot of. Like cons are such a beautiful place to be because you have kids that might, for the first time ever, be able to, show their thing in front of other people. And whether that's like the, anime kids wearing anime cosplay, or, wearing a pro wrestling t-shirt and, not getting ridiculed, like
they belong.
You can, like you can do that at conventions, because everybody at a convention has their thing. Like everybody's got the thing that's their thing, right? Like, I love everything about this, and I don't get to show this off because people don't get it, or I haven't found my people that do that. Seeing, like, running the cosplay convention, not just for the adults, but also for the teens and underage last year. There were so many kids that I talked to, and adults alike, where it was just like, man, I just want to hug you, because like you made this costume yourself, or you put the time and effort and thought into making this specific character because you relate to it, and then you had the balls to show up to a convention and rock the hell out of it. And there were kids that came up super timid, and you could tell like they just were way out of their element on a stage in front of people, talking to people. As soon as I made that connection with several of them, of like, I know who you are. I could see them visibly just like, oh, thank goodness. Like, and that's what people that don't understand that all of the nerd corner culture stuff, they don't get it, right? Like, it's socially acceptable to love football. It's not socially acceptable yet to, love pro wrestling. And yet one of the sponsors is Ascend Pro Wrestling. Are they going to be, what a transition. What?
No, that was great.
Sometimes it just happens. That was one of my serendipitous moments. But Ascend Pro Wrestling, like, do they have like a table? Is there going to be a match like in the parking lot or something?
So I would have ideally loved to have had that. And we are working with them for something maybe possibly in the future that's not, coming up in September. But it was a cool connection with them, because I had somebody that's on the team and kind of reached out to them. Maybe not in a way that I would like have wanted them to. and I see this thing on Facebook that we're one of their sponsors. We're sponsoring a match, and as a business, I'm like, man, I don't really want to put out that we're sponsoring something while we're asking for sponsor money. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. Just because I feel like if you're asking people for sponsorships, but you're showcasing that you're a sponsor for something else, like, it don't really look. It's not a good look. Not for year one, right? So I emailed. I reach out to them, and I'm like, hey man, like, I do not want to be this person. I'm sorry. I don't know what the conversations you had, but like, can that just be worded a little bit differently? Because like, as somebody who's trying to get sponsors, like, I just don't want this to have a bad outlook on my year one. And they were so cool, man. They messaged me back like, no, I'll just say that that it was non money, and you were just promotion and this and that. And I was like, man, that's cool. And right from the get go, I could tell, like, okay, these are cool dudes. Like, because I could have been met with like some flack, like, man, what? And it wasn't none of that. It was just all professional around the board. So I reached out to them, and I was like, man, I actually said it in the message, like, man, I love the way you guys handled that. Like, that was cool that you guys did that. And I was like, I'd like to work with you guys. I'd like to see what we can come up with. And it was like, yeah, cool, let's do that. And so promoting their brand. And then they're going to also have a panel where they're trying to sign people up for the wrestling school. So that's cool. And then, they treated me so well. They were like, man, let's get you some tickets. And they gave me some front row tickets. And I went out to one of their shows, and I just fell in love with like their whole promotion. I'm like, man, you guys are doing some cool stuff. And I just went to one last weekend, and me and my son, I can't get that man to watch wrestling on TV for nothing, but he loves going to those live events.
much fun to be there live.
So you're not gonna get the experience unless you have tons of money and you go to WWE and you get to sit in the front row because you're a celebrity. You're not gonna get that experience. I mean, we were literally, 2 foot away from the ring. We had a guy, go through a table right in front of us, like literally at my feet, And my son gets to reach down, he picks up a piece of the table. He still has it. Has signed a piece of the table. So I love everything that they do there. They're about their business, and I love being around people that are about their business because I try to be about mine. So it's like, man, how can we cross promote, dude? And since then, they have put our logo on every one of their flyers, every one of their promotions, and they'll be at the con. And I just look forward to continue to grow that with them. Like anything that we can do to help them, anything that they can do to help us, because I feel like that's how you build that community, like I was talking about. And we all trying to eat. We're all trying to do our thing. And wrestling and comics, man, they go hand in hand way more than a lot of people think. A lot of these 80s characters, like the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, them are superheroes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids looked up to them as superheroes. So it just makes sense. A lot of people that are in the comics are also into wrestling also. So it's cool to have them, and they, like I said, they're gonna have a table there, and hopefully in one of our next events we can get them in a ring and doing some cool stuff for the con. That would be sweet.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I met Rey Mysterio, I told him, like, I grew up on comics, what you were doing, and it was something like you were doing the same thing that the superheroes in my comics were doing. And he was like, oh, thank you, man. Thank you for saying it. Like, super humble about it. I'm sure he hears that every single day, as an event, but it was just like having that moment and then, getting pictures with him too. But like, it was just one of those like full circle things of pro wrestlers are doing what you read in comics in real life. Like, how can you not?
No, you're flying, man. How can you do that? Like, okay.
How did you launch like 14 feet in the air and do 3 backflips before you landed on it? Like, how did you say?
And those guys at Ascend, man, if you guys ever get a chance, I'm telling you, go to one of their shows because they put on one hell of a show, and we can all together. That'd be fun, the 3 of us to go to one to go check it out. They're pretty cool.
My kid is getting into like wrestling, and he's like, "Dad, I want to go." So I definitely will go because he's like now like wrestling. I'm like, okay, where these stuff come from? But I love it. Let's go.
I'm not going to question it.
So definitely they will be at the show. So
it's awesome.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm the guy at Ascend or any indie wrestling that I go to that everybody in the building hears because I just don't stop. Like, I find a guy, and for me the fun is like rooting for the guy that no one else in the room is rooting for and making enemies in the crowd. And like, so we had gone to an Ascend show, and then a couple of weeks later there was a different promotion. I think it was the Appalachian promotion did an event at Spooky Nook. And so I went with, my wife and a buddy of mine that was at the Ascend show with us. So, one of the guys that I just absolutely loved, Carson.
What's his last name?
I want to say Daly, but that's the TRO guy.
It starts with a D, though, I'm pretty sure. You're in the right letter. Drake, it is Carson Drake, I believe.
Perfect. But dude, if not, my bad, dude. Come on and correct me. And but like, I was such a fan of his that I was, cheering and doing all this stuff and everybody hated him in the room, which only means he's doing his job well. So he came out with a match against Enzo, formerly known as Enzo More. My wife loves Enzo, and I was like, I'm gonna root against you so hard. But I started cheering for him, and one of the managers from Ascend walked over to me and he was like, you were at the Ascend show like last weekend, right? I'm like, yeah, that was me. He was like, do you know him? Like, why are you going so crazy for him? and I was like, I just think he's great. Like, he's so damn good. And even the manager who was, opposing Carson in the match, at a stand, he was like, he's got that personality.
He's a professional.
It would be awesome for us to go down and just get stupid.
He's a pretty good heel. He actually, so his match was the one that we sponsored.
Okay.
And so I start cheering for him, and I got my son with me. So my son's like, "What did you say?" He obviously went straight to a fat joke. You know what I mean? Which I'm cool with. I get it. Like, I'm not offended by it because I get what they're doing. I know what heels do. I've watched wrestling my whole life, so like I get what he was doing. But my son took it like straight. He took it hard. He was like, "What did he just say?" So like my son was like, "Ooh!" So like, on this dude, like, we're not messing with this guy, So and he afterwards, like, because like we were sitting right where they came out. So when he was coming back in, my son's just, "You suck, you suck, you suck," and I'm like, "You heard it, man. You heard my son. Yeah, you suck." But he still signed something for my son. My son still went up to him and was like, "Here, sign this." So he got that signature at least. But it's fun, man. That's where it is. The wrestling shows are fun because you can cut loose like that. And those guys are doing a job, and the ones that are hated love to be hated.
Oh yeah,
so,
they're doing a great job.
I'll yell stuff to try and break the camera guy, because like, as someone who has done camera, I haven't done camera work for pro wrestling, but I've done it for sporting events and stuff, and so I've heard fans yelling all sorts of stuff. And if I get laughing, I appreciate that fan for being into it that much. And so I'm super loud in that gym. And I, yelled something like, someone was like, one of the guys did he's pulling my hair. And I couldn't even stop it. I was like, "What hair?" Because he was balding on the top and just had the like skullet thing going on. And the camera guy, like, he started shaking and looked over like, "Dude, come on. I'm trying to work here." I was like, I'm sorry.
That's funny.
So with wrestling, I'm obviously looking forward to talking to those guys and seeing them, because they're super good with people. They get it. But like, what's a thing with FiveStar that you're, I guess, most excited?
Like at the con?
Yeah, like I look forward to the cosplay contest again, just because last year was so much fun, like getting to talk to the people and interact with them and try and ask them ridiculous questions to throw them off from any other cosplay contest that they've ever done, which, by the way, I've never watched a single one. So all of it, I was using a drumstick as a microphone, and just like leaning into the whole shtick of it and just having fun with people. And so like that's the thing that this year I'm looking forward to the most.
Definitely excited for the food trucks. I love a good food truck. You know what I mean? So like, I'm excited that we have multiple different food trucks that are going to be there. That's always fun to just try different stuff.
What is that con without food trucks?
Having the food trucks, and I try to be smart about it. There's not, so like Saturday there's a set of trucks, and then Sunday there's a completely different set of trucks. Okay. So I was trying to think of just creative ways to get you to come back to day two, and that's one of them. Is like, Saturday you'll have some food trucks, and then Sunday you'll have some different stuff to try. So that's exciting. And then also just some year got into D&D, and I really enjoy it. And I got a group I've been playing with every Monday, and it just feels like a kind of part of a team. And it's fun, and we have some actual D&D instructors that are going to be there, that are going to be like teaching people and showing people like how to get in, because like D&D can be intimidating, right? Like if you never done it, like there's just so much, and it's like you got to create the character, and like there's different books and how do I pick up a book and I just start? Like, it's hard to get into. So I think that's fun that we're going to have that opportunity. One of the things we're going to do is try to have a live session take place in the game room that people can sit around and kind of watch and just learn from like people that do it. So I think that's a fun element that we're having. And then having all the cosplay groups that we have. Like, not only do we have the wrestlers that are going to be there, but like we have a Ghostbusters group that's going to be there. We have the 501st that's going to be there. We have the Mandalorians that are going to be there. We have the Rangers, some of the like Ranger guys who are full Lord of the Rings Rangers that are going to be there. Just having all those guys there and really just beefing up that area, like you were saying, John. I think that goes a huge way. I think I'm going to be tied down to a table this year, so I'm going to be out just mingling and kind of getting to talk to people a lot more, I feel like, than I did last year.
Yeah.
So that's exciting too.
John, what about you?
I think about the same. I just want to go there and interact. I really want to interact and see all the cosplays. Like you were saying earlier, last year, I'm like, oh, I love your cosplay. And their eyes open up like, do you know this character? I'm like, yes, I might look like this, but I'm a nerd inside.
Yeah.
And my especially my daughter, she just turned 13 and she's into anime and a lot of comics and stuff like that. And last year she's like, Daddy, I love this. Let's go next year. I'm like, we'll definitely be there. But just going there and seeing the people interact, building relationships, talking to creators, talking about like what inspired you to create this character, and of course the food trucks is must.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, dude, the street tacos I had last year, I don't even remember what they were, but they were insanely good.
Yeah.
So there's nothing better than a taco food truck, man. There just isn't.
Yeah. The food trucks coming. All you guys think about it. We're at 30 days. 30 days.
Yeah.
We're on a 30-day countdown. So, people that have been following the con and stuff, just be on the lookout because we're going to be flooding the internet with just everything.
Are you ready?
Shout out to my intern too. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, he's everything that you guys see on our content for the most part is
That's
him
awesome.
cranking that stuff out. So
And so for those that don't know, what's the best place to find and keep up with FiveStar as the con gets closer?
for sure, you can see here. I did put it into my name here. FiveStarComiccon.com is the website, so all the information for the con is there, and you can find us on every social media platform right now under FiveStar Comiccon. We are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on
TikTok.
What's up? TikTok. There it is. TikTok. You can find us on all that stuff. We're going to be putting out content and really just trying to push. And you'll see these two guys here because they're on the team. Just pushing in. Really, just come nerd with us. That's what we want.
Yeah.
just come hang out and nerd out.
Nerd, like that's what I love about cons. It's like when I met Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger from Power Rangers. I'm a huge Power Ranger fan. I'll be 100 years old and I'll be watching my Power Rangers and just meeting people my age. Because I was like, I was reserved about that. I'm like, I love Power Rangers. I'm a 30-something-year-old dude.
Yeah.
I grew up with Power Rangers and just meeting people like, oh, I love it too. So there's something like for everyone. They're like, there's going to be a niche. There's going to be a group that you're going to identify. And that's what we're trying to do.
There
it is.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me get a light over here. I got all the foil covers of all the Rangers over here. I don't know if you
Man, I've been trying to get a hold of them because I started my collection that's the thing, when I first read that comic from Boom Comics, I'm like,
shout outs to Boom because they killed with the Power Ranger comic, dude. They have.
I started collecting those. I had to move, and then I started like buying it online. But those foil covers,
I seen them. I had to
I'm
get
like,
them. I put them in frames. I had to. I also had the ones where they did. I know we're all subject, but it's okay. We're nerding.
Yeah.
I got the ones where they did the crossover with the turtles, so it's like the turtles holding their helmets. I had those too. I collected almost every variant cover that came out with the Power Ranger TMNT crossover. It was on my pull list. I'm like, I don't care, man. Let me know. 1 out of 50, order it. I'll make sure I get a few of them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I backed Amy Jo Johnson co-wrote the Pink Ranger Return series. And she was always my wife's favorite. There's pictures. My wife is like a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old as the Pink Power Ranger for Halloween. And so one year for Christmas, I backed that campaign to get, the one that she co-wrote and a series just about, I think it was just called Pink. Plus like all the extra swag that they had. And it like the next year it delivered as like the trades and stuff. But I was like, God, these are gorgeous books. So I never got into the show, but I was too busy watching like Dragon Ball Z. And like that was always my time.
Too.
Of all that and like gargoyles and stuff like that. So, but yeah, seeing all the crossovers that they've done and hearing from other huge fans that they're like, Boom is treating them so well.
Man,
crossovers and the ongoing and the specials and the one-offs. So like,
I was afraid they were gonna do that too, like campy. But I'm like, I started reading, like, oh my god, actually, right,
dude.
Yes, this is awesome. People who grew up with Power Rangers. We're like, okay, this is awesome.
We could have just on that, bro.
Oh man, I would go out for hours. That and Star Wars. But but yeah, like if you see me in the con, say hi and let's start Power Rangers.
That's great. So those are all of my notes that I had written down, but I have 2 more things that we're going to do. The first is I'm going to take a screenshot and use that as the YouTube thumbnail, mainly because I like being able to pose with creators that come on. So let me get a keyboard shortcut here. And then, of course,
let me get my good side.
Well, of course, that's backwards. Stupid camera. All right. Well, we'll do the 5. All right. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. The other thing that I like to do, and I didn't warn you guys, so I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but the reason I love doing this show is because I get to talk to people that come from all walks of life, have all different experiences, all different backgrounds, and yet we all love comics. And so every time I have creators and people that are in the industry and doing this thing on the show, I like to just shut up and turn the mic over to you so that if there's a message you want people to hear directly from you, I want people to be able to hear your authentic voice. It could be a sales pitch for like, hey, come to FiveStar Comiccon. It could be why the Power Rangers are the greatest team up show of all time. The content doesn't matter at all to me. I just want to make sure that whatever message you want people to hear directly from you, they get to. So, Tony, because you started last time, I'm gonna drop John on the spot first.
Oh man. Okay. Well, like I always say, I do a streaming. I'm a very faithful person. I'm a guy. My faith drives me, and I always said, always do good. Like always be that person to help those that need help. So comics and everything there, like we are a community that even though we don't know each other or might not know each other, we'll be helping. That be a mess. It should be anything. Just do good, and don't look for profit. Just try to do good, just to be good and help those in need. That's what I always live for. Love each other and be that power, or like that force of good that you need and we need in the world.
Yeah. Love that, dude. That's gonna be a tough act to follow right there.
You got it, Tony. You got it.
On my show, I always end it with be a 5-star version of yourself. And that just means, man, just keep killing it, keep being consistent, and just keep being the best version of yourself. And how do we do that? We don't do it by the weeks or the days or the months. We do it by the moments. And that's why I'm real big on individual wins and small wins, because life is a series of moments, and it's how we react to each moment of what like propels us forward. So yeah, you might have a terrible day, you might have a terrible week, you might have a terrible month, but like you gotta, if you have those things, you gotta reflect on the moments, right? And I'm a firm believer that we all have two versions of like ourselves, and each moment we have to make a decision of what version of ourselves we're gonna be. When we like to get caught up in the what's here, to not focus on what we have now, and to think, that 2025 I'd have my own Comic-Con and be doing this with people that are cool and are the same as me. I wouldn't have thought that. And yes, I have a tendency to still look forward to do, what's the next big thing. But I'm going to take the moments to just cherish what we are doing, and the moments and the experiences that we're taking, and trying to do the right thing in each moment and be a 5-star version of yourself. And we hope to see you at the con.
5-star.
I love it, dude. I look forward to hanging out more with you. Normally it's like, oh, talk to you soon on socials. I'm going to be seeing you guys a lot over the next 30 days.
We're going to be kicking it hard, man.
Definitely.
So I'm excited. I'm so stoked to be on this team, because like being a part of a con is something that I never thought I would get to be a part of.
Sure.
I thought volunteering and like, being the water bottle hander outer guy at the walking around the hallways, like I thought that was my peak.
No.
And so to be in this role is just like insanely cool.
Yeah.
And so thank you for letting me be a part of this.
Sure.
I'm so stoked. We're 30 days out as of this moment. The link is in the description below. So if you don't want to type out everything that is in Tony's name card there, it's linked below. So you can just go down and click it, find out about the con, see who's going to be there, and then make plans to see us on September 13th and 14th, Middletown, Miami University campus. It's going to be a super fun time. And just say hi. Like, say hi to us. Don't be scared to approach people that are there, or tell cosplayers that you like their costume, because it means a ton to them. So I know that we can continue talking for another 4 hours, but I'm exhausted from this new job, so I got to go crash. But what's a good podcast without a good tagline? Hang on for a second. I got more logistics for you guys, but for everybody else watching and listening and doing all the things, I appreciate you being here. But now it's time for you to go do what's good for you, punks, and read some indie comics, because we are at